Genesis.
Hey, what's up? It's Genesis, and I hope you're doing well. Today, I'm going to show you how to thicken up your sub basses in 3 ways: overtones, movement, and textures. Even though I'll be using Ableton for this tutorial, these techniques are applicable to any DAW of your choice. The following footage is actually from a masterclass I taught, which was held on the WAV Discord server in the 1st of February. It's part of a series called the Sound Design Side Quest, where artists divide an hour to give a tutorial or answer questions for 15 minutes, then the audience gets to explore it in 5 minutes, and then the cycle continues for the rest of the hour. Big shout out to Summit for giving me this opportunity. If you don't want to miss the next one, you can join the WAV Discord and my Discord server for announcements on it. Link in the description below. And if you want to see the full masterclass video, you can watch it on my Patreon. Link is also in the description below. So without further ado, let's begin. Subs. There are many ways to tackle subs, and the one that I use a lot is mainly using operator. You can use any other synth that has these built into it, and these are basically like overtones that you can add on top to your fundamental pitch. And these overtones are pretty much multipliers of the main frequency. So if your main frequency, let's say, is 100 Hz, then 100 Hz times 1, which is your first bar over here, will be 100. Next one will be 200, 300, 400, 500, and so on and so forth. I remember I was watching a Mr. Bill masterclass, and he was talking about how loudness is pretty much perceived volume over time.
So I would personally define loudness, and I think this is probably the best way to define it, as loudness over time. So, you can have something that's like incredibly loud, but it doesn't necessarily sound louder than something that's a lot quieter that's louder for a longer period of time. And I'll prove that for you right now. Tell me which one you think's louder. This is example 1. Everybody hear that? And then here's example number 2. So which one's louder? And clearly the second one, right? But you can see here the first one is peaking at plus 10 decibels. And the second one here, it's at negative 12 decibels. So one of them is 22 decibels louder on the peak meter, but we hear one as louder because it's louder for a longer period of time.
And the main concept is that having a sound that is extremely loud but played for like a very short millisecond, isn't perceived as really loud. But if you have something that's, let's say 16 decibels quieter but played for a second, then that sounds a lot louder, because the ears have more time to pick it up. So in terms of doing the same thing for subs, what you can do is, with this kind of view, you can also do it in Vital and Serum, I believe, bringing up some of the odd overtones. So let's say 3, 5, 7, 9. If you look at this single cycle oscilloscope here, bringing up these odd harmonics squarifies the wave a little bit each time. And since Mr. Bill came to the conclusion of perceived loudness is volume over time, then what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make the waveform be as loud as possible per single cycle. And this way, with squarifying your sub a little bit, it can make your sub sound fuller. So if I take all of these effects off and just go with a straight operator, I'll pitch this up a little bit. There we go. If I want to go for like a straight note like this, right? With just one overtone or the fundamental frequency, it sounds this loud, right? But if I start to add some odd harmonics, whilst keeping an eye of this, your sub starts to sound a bit more full. There we go. So now it's almost square-like. An argument you can have with this is that why not just use a square wave and then filter it out? Well, yes, you can do that. Square wave, filter it out. It gets a similar sound. But the problem is, unless you have key tracking with higher notes, you start to lose volume. Or with lower notes, you get bigger sounding notes because the filter is quote-unquote more open. But then, of course, as you get higher, then the volume starts to dip a little bit, and the definition of the sub starts to dip down. You can add some key tracking. In Operator, it's with this frequency over key knob here. But again, with some synths, for example, Operator has this problem as well. If you have glides, then this filter doesn't track the glide either. So it just stays at a fixed frequency, which is not that great because, again, if you imagine trying to slide from a lower octave to a higher octave, then you're going to lose some volume at the higher octave and definition as well. Doing it this way with odd harmonics gives you more control and the most consistent clarity, which is why I tend to use it a lot more. You can add some more movement as well if you want to. So pitch envelopes like this. Pitch envelopes can add some punch to the start of each note. Makes it act more like a kick drum or an 808. You can add some further distortion. I've found myself using 3 saturators in a row more often. And this is because I can tackle different harmonics. That's pretty cool. And another thing is using a disperser. But since I don't have disperser, I have this instead, which is what I made. And it is a free Ableton version of disperser. Whoa. And it doesn't use any third-party plugins. But it's got the same kind of concept. But you can hear it adds more to the movement of the sub. But it can also help with adding textures. So let's say we use an erosion to add some more texture. You can hear that how the disperser changes the attack of that sub. Let's add some more pitch. Ooh. Oh, that is actually disgusting. But yeah, so the main principles are for making your subs fatter or improving your sub is by adding some harmonics to make it sound fuller in the frequency range, adding some movement, and also adding texture with erosion. Ooh. Or you can use samples or other synths as well if you want to layer it up this way. I'll get another operator, for example, and I'll put it on noise looped instead of noise white. So now we get stuff like this. But maybe make it into like an FM kind of case. Add some harmonics this way. And maybe we could just go after the harmonics. That is crazy. I've never done that before, actually. But that's a cool way to get some interesting harmonics in your sub.
Yeah, that's nuts. All right, wait. Okay. So I think that's a good point. Let's give people 5 minutes to be able to try to integrate some of that to their own projects. Ask some questions. You guys got any questions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, operator is the move for subs.
Like, as a stock plugin, synth, it is absolutely absurd, like, how much power it has. But if you... Wait, do you have it on standard? I hope you have it on standard.
It's on Suite.
It's on Suite, okay. Because I remember someone saying that they're on standard mode.
Yeah, Claw.
Oh, Claw, okay. I don't know if it's on standard. If not, you can, as I said before, do the same in Serum or Vital, and I'll quickly show you that right now, like how to get the harmonic view thingy-majiggy. So if you click on the pen icon on the wavetable, you have the exact same thing up here. And it's the top row, not the bottom row. The bottom row is talking about phase. But the top row
I never
is...
realized that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I thought they've got control over that. But the top row is all about harmonics. They call it bins here. And they've also highlighted octaves in this view as well. So you've got the first one, second, fourth, 8th, 16th, and 32 as octaves in like a lighter gray.
Hey, yo, Sriracha, you can FM on operator. You can actually FM, isn't it? You can FM like 4 times, right?
Yep.
Because you have 4 separate oscillators. Because you could choose to stack them or have them solo.
Mm-hmm. Which technique did you forget? Oh, the sub. Okay.
Just draw the overtones. The overtones is the focus.
Yeah, the odd harmonics specifically. So 3, 5, 7, 9, and drawing them downwards in volume. If you have some sort of oscilloscope, you can also take a look at the waveform, and you can aim to get a fatter waveform like this, like a square that's rounded off. Or if you want to, I sometimes go for this square triangle kind of thing going on like this. It's also got a very nice texture too.
Hopefully y'all got that sub technique. Remember, it's the adding the overtones, and then after that, it's just basically beefing it up. True. And then getting creative with your layers, you know. I know if some of you are on FL, you can do that by just routing things into those mixer channels and routing it to like the adjacent ones, and really get creative with that shit. And for the people on Ableton, like using your audio effect racks, like seriously, like double those. Like it's basically like having that return send, but you can keep it all contained into that channel.
Yeah. At the end of this this course, pretty much the entire thing is like, there's no rules to anything, especially with the first technique that I showed. I used 3 frequency shifters that are like minus 10 kilohertz on all of them, which is absurd. No one usually does that, but who cares? Because if it sounds good, it sounds good, really.
It's about being, and that was the whole point of today. Remember, like, that's why I feel like the whole creative aspect, you nail it on the head, bro. Because, like, you look at what you're doing with your tools, with the sounds you're using. Like, that shit's insane. It's really being creative with, like, your tools, you know?
I'd like to give a big thanks to Lizard and iWrite for being my highest tier patrons. You're absolute legends. If you're interested in becoming a patron member and getting access to perks such as this masterclass, other exclusive content, behind the scenes, shoutouts and more, check the links in the description below. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like and sub to buff my algorithm RNG, leave a comment if you have something to say, and maybe share it to someone you think would find this useful. You can further support me by checking out all the links in the description below. This includes my official website, my Discord, my Patreon, and other social medias. Once again, thanks a lot for watching, and stay creative. See you in a bit.